Hope you're doing well. Kindly reminder that this meeting is being recorded. Thank you all for joining the Computational Computing Consortium Outreach Committee meeting for January 21st, 2026. So let's go ahead and get the meeting started. As always, I want to remind everyone that this meeting is governed by the Linux Foundation antitrust policy. If you are unfamiliar with it, you can find more information at linuxfoundation.org/antitrust-policy, or feel free to reach out to me or Mike for more details. And this is a transparent, collaborative, and harassment-free space. Our goal is to support data protection and the adoption of computational computing technologies. Do we have any new members today? If so, we would love to have you introduce yourself, share your background, and let us know what brings you to the outreach committee.
Just a note that I don't know, Laura says that audio is not working. Laura, are you okay? Is it your audio or? Sorry, Rachel, I didn't want to distract. I just wanted to make sure that.
It looks like Laura dropped.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
maybe she restarted. Okay, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
yeah, let's make sure that she's able to rejoin and the audio works for her. And in the meantime, I do see that there are Equity Lab here, and then if I'm not introduced yourself, would you like to and really kind of share who you are to the audience here?
Sure. Thanks, Rachel. Hi, everyone. My name is Ray. I work with Equity Labs. Our work is in an adjacent space in verifiable compute. So just familiarizing myself with the CCC calls. Yeah, mostly working around like workload identity. So joining the calls on Tuesday, but first time being added to the outreach calls as well. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Welcome to the community. Look forward to collaborating with you. Any other new folks? If not, and I see none, then we can move on to the next item here. The next item is agenda review. So here's today's agenda. We have one agenda topic added by Thomas from Edgeless Systems before the meeting. That is regarding OC3. Other than this agenda topic, are there any additions or changes anyone would like to propose before we proceed?
Sounds very okay.
Awesome. If not, we'll continue as planned. The next item is approval of previous minutes. Do we have a quorum?
It looks like we do.
Yes, we do have a quorum. Is there any corrections or objections of previous minutes on January 7th, 2026 meeting?
Nope.
Hearing none, we'll approve the minutes from our January 7th, 2026 meeting. These were distributed in advance, and unless there are objections, the minutes will be formally adopted. The next are our usual reminders. A quick reminder of ongoing outreach resources and processes that members can take advantage of. First of all, our CCC job board is on githubjobs.dev infrastructure. And then we've also sent out those resources links in the meeting minutes. So if you would like to access them, feel free to retrieve those from the meeting minutes and take advantage of those if you have any job you would like to list. And the next you can take advantage of is the monthly newsletter. Please subscribe if you have not already, and also share any updates or news from your organization that you would like to put on the newsletter. The third resource is blogs, and blogs continue to be a strong channel, use cases and how-tos and techno deep dive that perform very well. And finally, please make sure that you're using the CCC member badge and linking back to our website. And you can also get those artwork, which is available on GitHub. Any other add-ons? Mike and Laura, anything else would you like to add to the user reminders?
Nothing from me at this point. Other than just remind people about the jobs board. It's a great place to advertise jobs. Anyone who's a member can advertise any type of job to do with confidential computing on it. So please use it.
Awesome. Thank you. And then next, and I will hand over to Laura to present the 2026 CCC Outreach Committee Marketing Strategy. Laura, over to you.
Hi, everyone. As promised last month, we did talk about sharing, actually it was earlier this month, we talked about sharing the opportunities around marketing and engagement. We heard the opportunities for improvement for 2026. And so Rachel, myself, and Mike sat down and kind of outlined some of the opportunities we have around really going loud and proud with confidential computing this year. We're going to take a more integrated marketing approach. This has been successful at basically every organization I've seen it employed at. We will look at the audience. We'll think about thought leadership and how we can really drive that this year. And we'll need you to engage there for us to be successful. And we're going to showcase some of those opportunities and how everybody can get involved this year through a calendar. Again, that'll come in a minute. We'll look at the full funnel approach, which is thought leadership and awareness, driving awareness. I think that there is awareness for CC. It's really growing. We know that a lot of our companies are being approached from customers asking for confidential computing, which is great. So that shows that there is awareness. We have the opportunity as a consortium to really lead that thought leadership. And of course, when we want to drive them down to consideration, we want them to consider the solutions that are in market right now. Building your own is great, but it's a lot of work. Open source community, we do all offer those options to build your own, though purchasing from one of the companies that are already building solutions is even better, which of course that means we want to push selection and preference for the products that are in market right now, especially the ones that you are driving as a membership group. And then of course, purchase and implementation and deployment. Hopefully it's so easy to deploy that customers can just click and go. So we're going to offer some different marketing tools and assets, and the delivery mechanism will be through articles, blogs, podcasts. I know some of our members are already doing a lot of podcasts. I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to add some of those into our monthly newsletter, which, by the way, as a reminder, is coming out in about a week. So if you would like to highlight anything that's going on at your company or organization, any announcements, any exciting information around confidential computing, please do share that with us. There is a link. We can put that into the chat so everybody has access to that, but it's also part of the newsletter, so you can go into the minutes and see that you can join that. I think it's also on slide 3 that Rachel was showing earlier. And then, of course, every part of the funnel will have assets tied to it. And what we want to do is tie those to events. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so these are this is the objectives, the strategies, the audiences, and how we're going to measure. So we, of course, want to create the awareness for the full stack confidential computing. We want to activate the partners that are in the consortium specifically. And this is a great opportunity for you to engage and help your voice be heard. And then, of course, demonstrate that thought leadership and how we're a trendsetter in confidential computing, our membership companies. And then, of course, I have updated this slightly because there are more than just ISVs that are part of the consortium. There's also cloud service providers, hardware providers like AMD, IBM, NVIDIA, Intel, et cetera. So we will focus not just on ISV partners, but anybody that's a member of the consortium. And then, of course, we'll look at the showcasing those solutions as they're available to you. Ab, did you have a question?
No, just sorry.
Okay, awesome. And then we want to, of course, tie those to the key industry events. Okay, great. Thank you, Rachel, for putting that link in there. And then, of course, showcase your partner assets. So again, I know that Mike has been doing some great podcasts recently, well, I guess over the last few months, with a member of the consortium. And I think that there's some great podcasts in there that could really help just educate the entire the whole world on confidential computing. Now, not all of them will be a fit. So we will, of course, look at that as a consortium, make sure it's a good fit, and it's, of course, agnostic to any one specific solution, but at the same time, also highlighting opportunities to share and showcase the vertical use cases. Go ahead, Mike, you had a question?
Yeah. Just to say that, if and I've been hosting podcasts sort of separately for Super Protocol, but if your company is looking to do podcasts and you'd like me on as a guest, or I'm sure Laura or Rachel or Dan, those are absolutely things that we could be talking about and being on your podcast, if that would be helpful. So please just shout. I'm certainly available. It'll obviously depend on the different the company rules for everyone else, but please get in touch if it'd be helpful to have me as a guest on a podcast or anything, or anything like that.
Yeah, and to Mike's point, OC3 is coming out soon, and then CC Summit follows shortly after that. I know OC3 posts all of their sessions online, and so there are some sessions that are very technical deep dives into confidential computing and how it's being enabled across the ecosystem. So that's definitely an opportunity for us as well to kind of highlight those assets, and it has hopefully a much broader reach. We have noticed that when we do product announcements, the views of those product announcements are, much less than when we do technical blogs. So technical blogs can get, over 800 views on average, whereas product announcements, when we measure that, it's a couple hundred. Dan can keep me honest here. He sent me the stats yesterday.
Not products, just announcing new members.
Announcing new members.
Yeah,
okay,
those don't get a lot of reads, but the views, but the technical blogs are very popular.
Yeah, so just a reminder that we have that opportunity to really engage our audience in a meaningful way with those. So I'm going to put some measurements around the blogs that we're doing this year. I want to have at least 2 technical blogs, one in maybe Q1 or Q2, and then one in maybe Q3. Q4 is I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats for the consortium to see when we have the most engagements from our partners or from our target audience. But we want to have at least 2. So if there are members here that do have some technical blogs that you haven't released yet, you're really excited to talk about. I know Intel has been working on some TDIST, technical information. Let's look at that. Let's see if we can't showcase that and highlight it within the consortium. And of course, linking all of our content and strategies to our assets, really to just get attachment. So the next slide.
Laura, actually, I had just a question, and this is not just to you, for all of us. How are we coordinating with other committees, right? Like, for example, the GRC, or not just the TAC. I know we have closely those technical blocks, but for example, regulations and key things that come in and will come into play. Like, are we I just don't want us as an outreach committee to do things in a vacuum with
Yes,
so maybe I don't know is there a systematic way? Did we think about a systematic way of syncing? It could be every 2 months or 3 months or every quarter, whatever, with the other committees, and say, hey, or a certain way of, so that we don't miss and amplify whatever they are doing.
Yeah, I love that question. That's exactly something that we explored and talked about last month. And then luckily today we are going to be going into the board. So we will be meeting with them. And each leader from each of the different groups joins that meeting. And we will actually bring that up. That's one of the topics and opportunity that we have to engage more effectively. I assume that we'll be able to do this at least once a quarter. And I know Mike I know you do join those different meetings, and I know he does bring in a lot of value and showcases what we're each doing in each of our silos. I think, Mike, you do attend all of those, right? But that is something
I attend as many as I can. I can't always make all of them. I often have clashes, but I do that. I mean, as far as the silos go, it's kind of the tax job to pull together all of the different bits of, of their SIGs, because there's 3 SIGs under the TAC. We don't have any SIGs under outreach. We've got one starting up under the GB, of course, which is the regs and regulations or regulators and standards. So it's kind of up to the TAC to bring those in, if you see what I mean. But I try and de-silo to the extent I can.
Can I make a suggestion? I think we should reach out to the heads of each of these committees and telling them it's more of for them to push towards the outreach. I think pulling from us, from them, sorry, us going to each committee. We're all busy, obviously, but we would hope that the heads of each of these committees will be interested in amplifying if they have any blog or any or even a topic that we can help them draft a blog, for example, right? That's maybe something to have a discussion with.
Yeah, that's something I can certainly take to each of them. I'll do that, and I will try and raise that with Dan, Laura, and Rachel. If we get in touch with Dan and say, let's think about how we can get outreach, at least an update from them each, however often. That's very positive.
Yeah, and Ab, to your point, we're going to be meeting, like I said, with the board today, and each of the heads of the different groups will be attending. We'll be in attendance, and we're presenting our plan for 2026. So that will be something that I raised today as well. So thanks for highlighting. I won't forget.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just one tiny point. It's not about telling the other committees telling us, oh, we've done this, we posted this blog, whatever. It's more about, and I don't know, maybe we already do that. I apologize if it is, but it's more ahead of time so that we amplify it, right? That's I think the key point.
They tend not to be doing blogs, right? So the way they tend to work is that they are doing work on documents or protocols, working with the IETF, for instance, or coming up with things that go in our on the website. Now, when we put stuff on the website, we should make a noise about it, but we should be encouraging them to do blogs. And maybe I think that's probably the thing we need to be doing is, having an update from them on a more regular basis that we can amplify. Because I don't think there's stuff at the moment.
Yeah, they're not giving us much in terms of content, to your point, Mike. We did have a few kind of like technical papers around workload governance and that sort of thing that came out last year that came out of those working groups, which is great. And we would love to have more of that. We would love to have them doing more technical content. The most popular thing we posted last year was a technical blog from Dan Middleton. So yes, like if they're willing to do more, let's encourage them to do so.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not just personal feedback. This is feedback I got both from internally from my leadership in the company and at AMD, as well as sub discussions in the ecosystem where basically, they ask is is there more meat, quote unquote, that's I'm quoting here, to what the CCC is doing that they can look at or again, I'm relaying comments, whether it's fair or unfair, that's a different story, but that's
So and I think generally the way that these technical groups work is that their first focus is not about publishing stuff. It's about working on things together. And I mean, my first thing to say, I do agree we'd like to see more of it, but I'd also say if AMD is interested in these things, send people to the calls or watch the videos or both, because we really want to get more people from our member companies involved in all of these.
No, absolutely. And again, it's not about like the work that they do. I'm not saying necessarily that they need. I'm saying that the tag, for example, to publish. What I'm trying to do is that basically the outreach committee helping other committees with creating content potentially. That's more the thinking.
Sure.
Because to your point, their focus is technical, which totally makes sense. We are the outreach committee, right? So, but anyway, I don't want to derail the meeting. I'll let the conversation
It's all
continue
good.
here.
It's good. It's good conversation.
No, yeah, agree 100%. And add to your point, that is a call to action for every, member of the consortium, whether you're a premier or nonprofit. We would love to have you participate and provide any content. These are the events that we're going to tie all of our assets to. So it's going to be event-led storytelling and activation. I put names here. I didn't put NVIDIA purposefully because I had put NVIDIA first, and I thought, well, at first the reason why I put my company there is because I thought I'm happy to take the first stab and be an owner of this content creation. But then I realized, oh, maybe that won't be as well received. And so I am happy to take the first stab and be the first one to create content. Though if there is content already available or you're already working on something and you want to showcase that, we would love to highlight that in our newsletter and also amplify across social. Some of the events I wanted to highlight, and we can talk about this later. I know, the consortium is not participating in RSA this year, as you guys all saw from the budget planning session the last 3 months. It's been talked about. If we do have members who are going to RSA and would like us to come and speak in your booth, please do let us know. I think most of us do attend RSA, and we'd be happy to talk about the opportunities around confidential computing. This is some of the content that we'd like to activate. So the call to action here is content that you have, please share with us. The next call to action is a decision point that we'll be making on external marketing. There was an increase in cost to support marketing engagement this year for the consortium. It's basically pushed us outside of the budget that we already had set aside. So we are looking for external contractors to engage with us and actually, oh, awesome. Yeah, so I just put that as a placeholder. Malika. And so Microsoft just asked the question. I noticed Microsoft's listed here. So I just put these as placeholders. This is just my thoughts on paper. I'd be happy to update this with anything that you guys can provide us. And again, this is shared out with you so you can actually make edits to it in real time, and we'd love to see this calendar get updated. I also will set a calendar. There's a calendar in each of our Linux accounts. If you would like to put something into the calendar and let us know, we'd be happy to put this onto the larger calendar. So,
Rachel, can I also
go ahead, Mike?
Sorry. Yeah, to go back to RSA. So I will be at RSA, and I'm very, very happy to meet customers, members, execs, techies, partners, ecosystem members, any of that. Whilst I'm there, so I'm very that would be great. So if you or any of your colleagues would like to say hi or introduce me to people or have me talk about whatever, please get in touch.
Yeah, and also Rachel and I, as chair and vice chair, we do take an agnostic approach to confidential computing. We do see the value to every single vertical, and we see a lot of value from what companies bring into this marketplace. So just note that if we do come and speak at your event, do know that we will support your announcements, products, etc., while talking about the ecosystem in general and all the opportunities there. So, call to action: assets, getting onto the calendar, please. The more you contribute, the better this will be, and the more engagement we have. We do already have one quote back for an external marketing agency, and I'm hoping to get at least 1 to 2 more, so we can review that and approve it, and then we can actually support all of these. All of this marketing activation. So that's my update.
Are you able to say how much the increase was from the Linux?
That's in the next slide, I think. Rachel, okay, I believe you put that into one of the slides. Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this is the marketing performance. So I think this is Dan.
Yeah. So this has to do with the paid that I know the board had approved. $50,000 budget for 2026 for essentially paid marketing, whether that's sponsored keywords on Google or promoting content on LinkedIn, that sort of thing. So the Linux Foundation does have an in-house team that manages that. And when we had spoken to them last year, what they had initially said is, happy to help. Our fee structure is 15% of the spend. So essentially 15% of that 50,000 would go to them and the rest would be spent on the various channels. Well, fast forward to January when I reach out to them to get this kicked off, and oh, we've changed our pricing structure, which is on the next slide. Um, and unfortunately, this makes it a lot more difficult, from my perspective, for CCC to take advantage of this. So now, not only is it the 15% of the spend, it's also 1,500 a month. And that only includes one channel. So we would only be able to do LinkedIn or only be able to do Reddit or only be able to do Google. And if you want more, as you can see, it costs a lot more. So at that amount, I did the math, and we would with the small package on a single channel, it would be about $23,000 in fees, leaving only 27 for the actual spend. And again, restricted to a single channel. So,
Dan,
yes.
has there been any pushback about this being announced, after budgets have been set? Because that seems like this is something you should definitely announce before budget being set. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And
Okay.
yes, that has been not just by me, but by other projects. Another project that I support also had budget approved for at a similar level for this year, and now they're in the same boat. Um, but it's a different department. They sit outside of the Linux Foundation marketing team. There's a completely separate team that just deals with the paid. And so, unfortunately, our influence is limited. I've spoken to my VP about this. She's heard about this from other directors, who are not happy, but that is what that team has decided to do. So, essentially, that's limiting the number of projects that are going to be using them to the very large projects that have very large budgets, like
Can you tell us what other projects are doing? Are they going externally as well?
The other one that I support, yes, that's what we're looking at right now. Similar to what you all are doing, looking at external quotes.
That's really helpful, Dan. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sorry, I just see the chat. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at, but I'm happy to answer any other questions on this.
I'm kind of relieved that it's not just us that's being caught,
No, it's
by
not.
surprise.
I think the announcement came late in the year, right, Dan? I mean, you sent it to us, I want to say at the end of December, that the decision was made. Yeah. So
there's no way that you can budget like this. They have to realize that if you do that, you lose business, and that's just what we're going to have to try and work out how we do that.
So Dan, what I'll do is, as my quotes come in, I will share that. So we have transparency, and that way, if the other committees that you sit on, they can have the opportunity without having to do a lot of legwork. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And if I get any alternate quotes, happy to pass those along this way as well.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that very much.
Awesome. So, anything else from you, Laura?
No, I think the budget with Dan was going to cover this and the marketing.
So, just have you got? I can't remember what else is on the slides. Have we got much else or not?
We had web stats a couple slides back. If you folks wanted to review those, Angela can go over them, or folks can.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yes. Is Angela on the call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just be quickly going through our website metrics in December 2025. For December, we had over 9,800 page views and 4,900 visitors. which we see a dip comparing to last year's same time, which is about 21% decrease in page views and 14% decrease in visitor compared to last year. And I did a little bit of research on what we published last year and what was our website activities. So part of the difference is explained by content volume and timing. So last December, we published multiple pieces, including several blogs and excuse me, an announcement and a podcast, which actually created more entry points and more opportunities for amplification across channels. And this year in December, we had one primary piece, which is the IDC white paper announcement, which was in early December, with more of our content actually scheduled to land and already land in January instead, and November too. So this dip is less about the loss of interest, but more about distribution of content across the calendar. And also there's a seasonality involved in December as well. But what is encouraging is that even with lighter publishing for December, engagement is still focused on high value pages. The homepage still being the most visited site, the members page, about section, white papers, and current projects continue to lead as well. And it's telling us that the users are arriving with intentions and exploring the content with a purpose. And looking at the traffic sources, direct and referral remain our strongest channels. That points to strong awareness of CCC, return users, and also continued visibility through social amplification and organic search too. And geographically, the US continues to lead, followed by China, India, Mexico, and Singapore. And from a device perspective, usage remain well balanced between desktop, mobile, and a little bit of audiences are viewing our website through tablet. And that will be all. Any questions?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
just
so
from
Rachel,
last there was an action item to get the number of IDC white paper downloads and report back at this meeting. So do we have that numbers?
Oh, I don't have that to hand, but we can pull it up. I could probably have it before the meeting's done.
that'll be lovely. Thank you. So I think what's really interesting to me is the direct and referral, which tells me that when we tell people about stuff that we've published, or we tell, if that really helps, right? Am I understanding that right, Angela? So
Yeah, so direct traffic could be reflected in multiple ways. For example, having the URL directly into the browser,
what about
clicking.
LinkedIn and things like that, LinkedIn stuff?
Yeah. So that referral traffic could be reflected through social media amplification, event pages sometimes, partner websites, for example, if the blogs are being published on the Linux Foundation newsletter, so people can click through those as well. So
Sure.
Yes, you're right.
So all I was going to say is that the slide we had earlier on about having content coming out regularly, we need to make sure that, as members, if we see something that is the Confidential Computing Consortium on LinkedIn or wherever, we always repost that if at all possible. Because I think I know looking at my LinkedIn stats that when I repost stuff, a lot of it goes through. So please do that, and let's make sure that we have. And as Angela was saying, December we didn't have much in this year. If we could just keep a constant cadence of stuff coming in, and then keep reposting it, that's going to go very well. So I've had 3 articles published already this year, and because I decided I wanted to help us really start with a year. So I want other people to do stuff as well. I don't want it just to be my name on it. So let's work with Rachel and Laura to get those slots filled up, because that would be great.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much for that feedback, Mike. Anything else to comment on for this topic? If not, then we can move on to next item. So just wanted to kind of give a refresher on the outreach committee budget. It's just a regular refresher on what was approved. And no new items are being added here. And the next is our other business. So there is one additional agenda topic that was added ahead of the meeting, and this was added by Thomas from Agilist Systems. And then the topic he wanted to bring up is updates on OC3 sponsorship. Do we have Thomas on the call? Or anyone from Agilist System? If not, I think we can go ahead and discuss and what would be the next action item for OC3 sponsorship, or shall we bring this offline?
I think we should bring that offline. We definitely want to sponsor. They were part of the budget. So let's go ahead and take that offline and start executing on some of those contracts, some of the commitments.
Yeah, if we could find out when they're announcing the schedule as part of that discussion, because I've got a couple, at least one waiting to hear submissions on that. So
yeah, we also have some submissions, Mike, that we're waiting to hear back on. So I think that'd be a great opportunity to reach out to them directly and find out more there.
Perfect, thank you.
Maybe he had a hard time getting his himself unmuted as well, like I did this morning. I had to drop and rejoin. So thanks for everybody's patience there. So yeah, let's take the events that we're sponsoring offline, as well as any budget requests that you guys have that you'd like to do around marketing. If you do have ideas there, please do send us an email, send myself, Rachel, and Mike an email, and we'd be happy to look at that and see how we can support.
Absolutely.
Sounds
Always
good.
have to hear from members.
Yeah, and then also an update from Dan. IDC download today is 141 from 101 users, which is pretty great conversion. So Dan mentioned that for comparison, the announcement of the report has had 202 views from 144 users. So over 70% of users who viewed the announcement took the step to download the paper. Dan, anything else you would like to add on for this?
Nope, those are just what I pulled out of the analytics right now. So that's the current status. And of course, we are continuing to promote that. As I think at least some of you know, we put together a number of social cards pulling specific stats from the paper, which we're using to continue to promote that.
Dan, I'd be interested in writing another article about that for the blog. If you want to, if we want to get together, talk about what that would look like and the best way of doing that, let's do that.
That would be fantastic.
Brilliant. I have to say, whenever I tell people about it, they say they're very interested and want to download it. So it's worth telling people it exists, right? And so that just the table of India versus the UK or financial versus healthcare provides so much detail for people, and about what are the blockers and in the different geographies and the sectors is just beautiful stuff to mine. So please tell people about it. It's really useful.
Yeah, and Laura, to your point, it's actually not gated. So we're just
I know. Yeah, so we don't gate it, but sometimes other companies will gate the content. So if we don't gate it, which for everyone on this call, gated content means that they have to enter their email address in order to get access to the content. If you just make it open and available, more folks will read it. So that's one way to gain visibility. I did actually add it to the landing page for NVIDIA's confidential computing site, and we have seen many downloads already. So actually, I could track that and bring that back into the consortium.
Yeah, please do.
It actually, yeah. So I'll bring that back in. I just launched that website, I want to say, the first week of January at CES. So we will see some. Hopefully, we'll see some numbers popping in on that. So I'll bring that information into next month's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Angela also mentioned that a new blog went live this morning. Thanks for sharing that. And Laura also mentioned that for the IDC report, placing it on your website without it being gated content would be a great way to get the word out as well. So thank you for all of your comments. Those are really great insights. So that is the only agenda topic under other business. Any other items folks would like to comment on or discuss? So I'm hearing no questions, comments, or additional agenda item. If not, then I think we can go ahead and conclude this meeting.
Thanks, everyone. Good to see you all.
Thanks for attending.
Thanks,
See you
all.
next month.